if you can hear anything about my message today, my message is that you were created. God created you for a purpose, with a purpose to be successful. And I want you to understand that whatever number you've got on your life, that number is where you're going to, if you got a 6 on your life, can I tell you something? You're going to do 5 work. You're not going to do 7 work. You're not going to do 8 work. You're not going to do it. If you've got a 6 self-image, listen to me very carefully. The most important thing you can do in your life to grow is to lift your own self-image lid. Now, how do you do that? Number 1, you lift your own self-image lid when every day you add value to somebody. When every day you add value to someone else, you begin to lift your self-image lid. Trust me on this. It's a fact. Every day I wake up and I ask myself a very simple question. I mean, I've done this for years. Every day I wake up and I ask myself this question: what can I do to add value to people? And who can I add value to? Every day I intentionally ask myself that question. And every day I purposely, intentionally add value to someone. When I was having breakfast at my hotel this morning, there was an individual that I had seen every morning, and so I went over and introduced myself and asked them for 5 minutes of their time, and I just sat down and I shared with them that I had watched them as they walked around the people, and they had a good presence about them, and I just told them, I just wanted to know how much they'd add value to me every time I came down for breakfast. They just had a smile, and I just poured myself into this young lady for 5 minutes. She walked away, I could tell. Well, I was adding value. I mean, you'll increase your self-image when you give yourself away. You see, Robert Louis Stevenson said, I determine success by how many seeds I sow daily. He said, it's the seeds I sow daily, not the harvest I reap. Most people, they're looking for the harvest. And I'm telling you today, forget the harvest. Just start sowing seeds. Just start adding value. I've done it for many, many years. I understand. There's a huge return. But if you just sow seeds, if you just add value every day, it'll do something that will unbelievably add value to you. And it will increase your self-image. Let me tell you something else will increase your self-image. Every day, do the right thing, even though it's the hard thing. I've observed and I've watched people that have a good self-image. They don't cave. They don't follow peer pressure. They make their own decisions, and they make the right decisions, even when it's the hard decisions. They don't back away from them. Wow. Your self-image will so greatly determine your growth. Law number 3. Before I give you law number 3, let me ask you a question. Are you learning something? All right. Then we'll continue. Look at your neighbor and say, are you learning something? Ask him. Are you learning something? Look right back at him and say, not enough yet. You only had 2 balls. You're a whole 13 out there. You don't even have a clue about it. You can't write fast enough. You gotta buy the book. That's the reason I go fast. I don't expect you to keep up. On my first rodeo. Law number 3 is the law of awareness. The law of awareness says you must know yourself to grow yourself. Oh my gosh. If you're really going to grow you've got to know you. You've got to know yourself to grow yourself. You see, if you and I could have this personal conversation, one of the things I would ask you is, what are your strengths? You see, every one of you in the auditorium, you have 2, maybe 3, probably not, but could be 4 strengths. 4 is a little heavy, probably 2 or 3 is your number. Okay? 3 is my number. I thought it was 4.
Margaret and I were having breakfast the other day talking about it. And she said, no, it's 3. I figure, then I'll be 2, then I'll be 1. Then they just bury it, okay?
But you have strength. And one of the questions I would ask you if you and I were talking is I would ask you, let's talk about your strength. Now I'm talking now about giftedness. I'm talking now about ability. I'm talking about how you are wired. This is not something that you chose. This is you. This is in your DNA. You have a strength. I have it. And what I'm saying to you is, in this area, you've got to know yourself to grow yourself. One of the things I want you to understand is you have to know what your strengths are. Because whatever your strengths are, that's what you want to grow. In the area of abilities, listen carefully to me, in the area of your abilities, you have to work on your strengths, not your weaknesses. Most people, because of our culture, they work on their weaknesses. When you're in school, you got an A in math, you got a C in English, what did they tell you to work on? They told you to work on your what? English. Get that grade up, get that C, get that up to a B, work on that weakness. I'm saying if you got an A in math and a C on English, work on your math. Forget your English. You were probably lucky to get a C. Teacher probably liked you and bumped you up a grade. Now, why did you get an A in math and a C in English? Because you have a math mind, not a word mind, not a language mind. It's not dumb. It's not right or wrong. It's just who you are. Your strength is math. It's not English. And see, all of your life, you and I have been taught to work on our weaknesses. And I'm here to say to work on your weaknesses. And you say, John, why shouldn't I work on my weaknesses? It's because you're weak. And your weaknesses. In other words, again, my name's John. I'm your friend. You're not any good. I'm here to set you free. You can only increase a gift or an ability 2 numbers. Not 10, folks. 2. So let's say I'm below average. I'm a 3 in something, okay? And I say, okay, I'm going to really work on this because I'm really below average, and so I work hard. And so let's say, for example, I love music. There's a problem. I can't sing. But I love music. So I said, well, I want to be a great singer. I would just love to be hey, I'm in Vegas. Hello? I'd like to sing. So what do? I'm not good at it. I'm a 3. So I get a teacher. And I take music appreciation. And I pour money and time and effort. And for the next 2 years, I take all this music stuff. And can I tell you, 2 years after that, maybe I went from a 3 to a 4. But can I tell you, I'm still below average. Now listen to me very carefully. This is very important. People don't pay for average. People don't pay for, and I'm absolutely amazed at how many people love average. I mean, I just look at them and I say, why are you so in love with average? Average is average, and everyone is average. And you want to be everyone, and you just want to be average all your life. It's just average, and average is never going to be a success. And nobody gets excited about average. You don't get excited about average. You don't say, man, I just love that TV show. It's so average. Let's go. Oh, dear God. We're in Vegas. I heard there was a concert down there that was just really average. You don't stand in line for average. You don't pay for average. You don't look at your friend and after you both worked hard and said, hey, let's go out to dinner. Hey, let's find an average restaurant. And you don't go to the average restaurant. When they start to seat, you say, oh, we just want an average table. I know there's the ones over there by the windows, the water in the lake. We don't want that. We want an average, just an average table. And then when the waiter comes, we don't look and say, are you average? we would like to have an average. We don't want, if you're good, we don't want you. We'd like you, do you like take the order and then not tell it to the kitchen? Then we remind you 30 minutes later we haven't had our food. You say, oops, and then you bring the wrong food back because we like that too. And by the way, when we're talking about the menu, what do you have that's average here? We don't want to know what your specialty is. I mean, do you have like something nobody's ordered today? Now, you don't go sit at an average table and have an average meal with an average waiter in an average restaurant and walk out of that place and you look at that friend and you say, I am pumped, we must come back here. No. Listen to me, folks. People don't pay for average. And if you work on your weaknesses in the area of abilities, you'll only be average. But let's say you're a 7. Maybe you're above average in something. And so now this is a strength of yours. And so you work on it, and you can go from a 7 to an 8. You could even maybe get to be a 9. Can I tell you something? When you get in that top 20%, when you get 9 and 10, people stand in line for 9s. They pay for 9s all day. And you see, if you work on your strengths, in the area of your abilities and your giftedness, you'll really grow and you'll do really well and you'll be very successful. So when you get your growth plan together, when you say, okay, I'm going to start growing, you got to grow in the area of your strengths. You got to grow in the areas that you're good at. I'm good at communication. I'm good at leadership, and I'm good at creativity. Those are my 3 strengths. And I spend all my time growing in those areas. I don't spend time on other things and abilities and gifts I don't have. Why would I do that? I'm not going to be any good at it at all. I love to play golf. But I'm not like a 12 handicap. I'm not a real good golfer. But I love to play. But I'm never going to be a scratch golfer. I go to play golf with a guy and he hits a bad shot and he kind of gets mad. I look at him and say, excuse me. We get a little upset here. Do you do this for a living? No. I said, thank God. You're not any good. The problem is you're too close to the ball after you hit it. If you didn't get that, you don't belong here. Now, I said, work on your strengths in the area of your abilities. You heard that, didn't you? Now let me tell you what you work on. You said, should I work on your weak areas? Yes, let me tell you where you work on your weaknesses. In areas of choices. In areas of choices, work on your weaknesses. In areas of ability, which is not your choice, it's just who you are, work on your strengths. So you say, what's a choice? Oh, discipline's a choice. If you're not a disciplined person, you better work on it real strong. Because you can't be a success in this business if you're not disciplined. Attitude, that's a choice. Of course it's a choice. Now let me, in areas that are not choice, in areas of strengths like gifts and abilities like I talked to you about, in areas that are not choices, the growth is incremental, it's slow, and it's not large. It's 2 numbers. In areas of choices, the growth is fast and it's exponential. You can go, literally, in areas of choices, you can go from a 1 to a 10 because it's a choice. If you're not disciplined, and one day you say, I can't be a success in this business. I'm listening to all these diamonds. They're disciplined people. I'm an undisciplined person. I've got to get disciplined to be good in this business. Now, that's a choice. You can be a 1 today, and in 3 months, you can be a 10. You see, in areas of choices, growth is dramatic, growth is fast. In areas that are not choices, growth is slow, it's incremental, and it's not big. So in areas of weaknesses, you work on those in choices. In areas of strength, such as abilities, you work on those. And you've got to know yourself to grow yourself. So you don't want to work on everything because you can work on some things and never get any better. I told you a little bit earlier, I play golf, and I love to play golf, but I'm not really good at golf. And I love these people who say, well, practice more. Practice, I love the expression, practice makes perfect, practice makes perfect. What idiot said that? Can I tell you something? If you're not gifted in an area and you practice, it doesn't make you perfect. Practice makes permanent. In other words, if I practice my golf swing, it just means that my slice always goes, the ball goes to the same part of the woods every time. on your strengths in the area of ability. Work on your weaknesses in the area of choices. You must know yourself to grow yourself. That's the law of awareness. Let me give you law number 4. Law number 4 is the most important law to me, maybe not to you, of all the 15 laws of growth. I owe more to this law than the other law, so I want to make sure I taught this today. It's the law of consistency. And the law of consistency says that motivation gets you going, but discipline keeps you growing. That motivation is what you come here, you come to your conference here, your Beachbody conference, and you hear all these speakers and you see what they've done, and you say, boy, I want to be just like them, and I want to be successful, I want to help people, I want to do well. You get motivated. It has nothing to do with your success when you get home. You do understand that, don't you? That wears off in about 2 days. And you say, wow, I was really going to work on this business. Well, it feels good today as I did yesterday. Boy, they need to call another conference. This annual stuff isn't enough. My dear God, we need to do this weekly. We need to have a weekly. I just need a weekly pump up. Whoa, 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 whoa. By the way, I'm a motivational teacher, not a motivational speaker. Motivational speakers make you feel good, but the next day you don't know why. You just walk around and say, ooh, I feel good. Woo, I feel good. I have no clue, don't know what to do. Ooh, I feel good. You see, a motivational teacher, they make you feel good, but the next day you know why. If the stuff you are writing down now, if you'll just take this 3 days from now, it works just as good as it does right today. Trust me, folks. I determined a long time ago I wanted people to enjoy what I said, but I was going to make sure that I said something that could change their life. And the law of consistency will change your life. Now we overlook this law. And the reason we overlook this law is because it's not sexy. I mean, consistency. I mean, if somebody said, can I just sit down in the moment and let's just have lunch? I just look up to you so much, and you've taught me so many things, and there are so many things that are wonderful about you. Can I just talk about you and how wonderful you are? And you say, oh, yeah, I have time. Take 4 or 5 hours, go ahead. But just think how disappointed you are when they start to talk about how wonderful you are, and the first thing comes out of their mouth is, the thing I love about you is you are so consistent. Now you had 10 adjectives. Consistent wasn't one of them. Isn't that true? You see, this is amazing law, but we want to look over it because you see, when the diamonds are up here and they're getting recognized, and everybody's clapping and cheering and they're doing all the stuff. By the way, I was inspired. And I was back in that green room and I said, yes, yes. You said, now when did that old man die? After 20 push-ups? Now here's the point.